Nurah Speaks is a weekly podcast that tugs at the soul and consciousness of the Black community. With show topics such as youth empowerment, education, women's impact, and civic engagement, Nurah Speaks challenges the listener to not only join the movement, but be the movement. On the show, you'll learn from insightful guests who have demonstrated capacity in these fields and more, and I'm your host, Nurah Muhammad. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast, and I am your host, Nurah Muhammad. I am so happy to be with you in another episode. I want to share five tips for holiday spending where we can benefit our community. 5 tips for holiday spending where we can benefit our community. You know, the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, comes around, or any holiday. It could be Valentine's Day, Halloween. The marketer's goal, the retailer's goal is to sell us. Their goal is to create a consumer base and to maintain that consumer base. And they do this by convincing us that we need the goods or services that they provide. And there's ways that they do this. And marketing teams have people on staff that study how people think and study how we behave and study how we respond to stimuli. And so when these holidays come around, all they're doing is feeding us stimuli to create a reaction, to create a response in us. And, the consumerism around the holidays is so big, and, Christmas is a religious holiday, but it has become a commercial holiday in America. And we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our resources in this time because we don't have infinite resources, Some of us understand the check-to-check hustle that we do. Some of us are on a check-to-Monday hustle. Whatever your hustle is, that life is a hustle for most of us. And so we have to be wise in this time, and we, have to really resist the urge to overindulge during this holiday season. Because while the retail chains are getting wealthy, and those shareholders or those owners or those CEOs are, vacationing in February while we're shoveling snow, while they're somewhere on a beach with white sands and crystal clear water, we're here still trying to dig ourselves out of the debt that we caused ourselves during this holiday season. So I want to just share some things with you, and I hope you share it with others, ways we can protect ourselves and ways that we can moderate our spending and moderate our behavior during the holiday season. So my first tip for the holiday season and how to protect our resources and how to spend wisely is don't. Don't go out and spend. The holiday rush and the push that we are seeing on television, in the radio ads, when we log on to our smart devices, we get on our computer, they want to create the idea that there's a reason for us to spend. Those who celebrate Christmas during this time, Christmas, there's no edict in the scripture, in the Bible. There's no edict that directs us to purchase merchandise to celebrate this time of year, which our Christian family celebrates the birth of Jesus. There is no directive. There is no commandment from God that tells us that to celebrate this day, we have to indulge in excessive spending. It's not there. Maybe I missed it, and if I have, please leave me a comment. I would be interested in that and what you think about that. But there is no reason for us to spend except the retailers telling us to. So if you don't have to spend, don't spend. Save your money, invest your money, and just refrain from the indulgence that is typical for us in this time of year. But those who feel that, spending is a must, those who feel that it is, a tradition that they want to maintain. I just want to be clear, on this podcast, I don't, or on any platform that I have, it is not my way to tell people what to do. My only goal is to share information so that we can make informed choices. And without information, we are not making informed choices. So that's all I want to do, is help us make informed choices that are in our best interest. So if we do feel compelled to go out during this holiday season, then I would encourage us to buy black. If you're black, you're listening to this podcast, why not buy black? For us to ignore our black retailers, our black businesses, it is a crime and it is a shame. And the enticement of, going to the big box stores, the enticement of going to Amazon, they make it so convenient, the free shipping. I mean, some of us have Amazon Prime so that we can get the free 2-day shipping, but now they're trying to compete with the other retailers, and now they're giving everybody free shipping. You're wondering, why am I paying for Prime? So you thought you had an agreement so that you could have a benefit. Now everybody gets the benefit without the agreement. We have to be very wise in the schemes that they use to pull our dollars in their direction. And we have black businesses all around us. There are online retailers. There are retailers in your community. Support them. Support them. When I think about the way communities and the economy work, those dollars, we want those dollars to continue to circulate. Think about your young person who is going to want an after-school job. What greater place for your child to work after school than in a black establishment where they see people like them having a business, running a business, being an entrepreneur. We should really be excited to go and see a black retailer, somebody who looks like us, somebody who's sacrificing, who's being undercut. It is a struggle. It is a struggle to be a small business owner in America. We had, small hardware stores. Now we have Home Depot and Lowe's, right? We had small retail stores. Now these stores are competing with Target and Walmart, and now they're competing with Amazon and other online retailers. So they make it very hard. No, they don't make it hard. Marketing really is competing for our dollars, and they do a great job of diverting or capturing our attention so that they can capture our dollars. In the meantime, our brothers and sisters who are standing up to be role models and leaders in our community, they're suffering because we sometimes would rather have the convenience, the cheaper price, and when we do that, we sacrifice the integrity and honor of shopping with our own. Any of us who have been in Chinatown, or Koreatown, anywhere that there's an ethnic group, an ethnic minority in America, you see they have, they'll have their restaurants, they'll have their technology stores where you can get your devices, your phones, your cameras. They might have their beauty supply stores. These communities, they have their banks. When I in Chicago recently, when I was in Chicago recently, we were in Chinatown. The Walgreens was the signs in Walgreens was in Chinese. So they understand the benefits of group economics, and they are certainly an example. And nobody is calling them racist. They don't see that their businesses are less legitimate than Walmart or Costco or Sam's Club or any of these big retailers, because they're theirs, and they honor them simply because they're theirs. And so we should do the same. There are so many examples around us. So we should support our black businesses, our black business owners, our black artists, our black designers They're out there. And I don't like conversations about, they're overpriced. But when you consider how they have to struggle to survive and they don't have 5 chains or 20 chains or a worldwide network. And not only do they not have the worldwide network of chains, but they don't even have the mass support that we give to these other stores. You see, when we go into Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco, or if we're going on Amazon, there's all kinds of people supporting their businesses. Black, white, Asian, Indian, all kinds of people. But our Black businesses don't have that same kind of support. We don't give them that same kind of support, unfortunately. There are not a stampede of Caucasian people going to our Black businesses. There's not a stampede of Koreans going to our Black businesses. And then for us to add insult to injury, we also walk past our own businesses. And we can and we must do better. So my first tip to benefit yourself during this holiday season with our spending is don't. But if you must and if you will shop during this time, I would encourage you to buy Black. And there are retailers all around us. They're online. Do your homework, find them, and go patronize them. My other tip is in your local community, shop there. Start there. Go local first. Make local your and my first stop. Shop in your own neighborhood. Shop in your own community. Let these business owners know that we value them. You know, it's a shame for us to drive past our neighbor's business to go to patronize a business or to be a consumer at a business, and we don't know those folks and they're not invested in our community. They're not our friends and our neighbors. So I would encourage you. You don't have to go far. You'll save on gas. Buy local. Support those local business owners that are right here in our neighborhoods. Otherwise, they have so much competition with these other stores and these huge corporations. Let's help them compete. Let's help them stay there. Let's help them help us to have thriving communities. So if you must shop, buy Black and buy local. The next tip that I would like to share is if you are going to buy from somebody that you know. Buy from somebody that you know. And I think that's important because that is us going and establishing relationships with our shop owners. Establish relationships. So whether it's, you're going and you're buying a pound of coffee from your local cafe, or you're going to the local art gallery and you're meeting the owner and you're looking for a piece of art for a family, a relative, for a friend, for yourself. So when you shop, buy Black, buy local, but also develop a relationship with the folks that you're buying from. And then the gift that you're giving is going to have so much meaning because now you have an entire narrative around the presentation of that gift. So establish relationships. And when we establish relationships, then that can also help to create a network. And not only are we expanding our network, but we can expand the shop owners network. So buy from somebody that you know. And if you don't know your shop owners, your local retailers, your small business owners, then get to know them. Establish a relationship with them. And then my final tip, if we're going to be out shopping during this holiday season, buy small. Buy small. When we watch these stampedes of folks running into these electronic stores or these retail stores, it is so chaotic. And I can't think that there's anything that is needed that badly on a Friday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning where we're camping out in sub-zero temperatures. I can't think that there's anything that we have that has to wait for 4 a.m. Friday morning camping out in sub-zero temperatures. So as I said, we have to pay attention to the marketing and the appetite that they're creating in us where we all of a sudden, realize, I need a 72-inch flat screen television. All of a sudden, you realize you need this electronic, you need that electronic, you need this new gold pendant, or you need this new car. I mean, really pay attention to the advertising, pay attention to the commercials, pay attention to the language. They are compelling us. They are urging us. And they're hoping that we are not thoughtful about what we're doing. They're hoping that we're going to go out and we're going to be so punch drunk off of the holiday spirit that we're going to spend and spend and spend. And again, that spending that we do, especially when we're not buying black, when we're not buying local, when we're not buying from somebody that we know, that spending does not come back. It does not circulate in our communities, and it is not going to benefit us. So, if you're going to shop this season, I would encourage you to buy small. Walk around, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, talk to your relatives. And as a community, as a family, just go around and patronize these businesses. If you know some retailers that are online, let others know that there's a sister that makes jewelry. There's a brother that sells caps or sneakers. We don't always have to go in the direction that they're programming us to go. We can really forge our own narratives, and we can create our own buying habits. We don't have to be the drones that they're hoping that we will continue to be by overspending, overindulging, and extending ourselves into further debt and then paying for it in interest rates. We really have to think about what it means to invest in ourselves. We have to think about what it means to be disciplined. We have to think about what it means when others are shoving their traditions down our throat. Again, this is the holiday or Christmas season, and there is no commandment. Moses was not given a commandment wherein it stated that we should go out and create debt to recognize the birth of Jesus. That is not there, and we can do better. And we can also, in doing this and reframing how we spend, it could be a teachable moment with our young people, showing them that just because you want something, it does not mean that, one, you have to get it then. You can bargain hunt. You don't have to get that. You can get this. Even recently, one of my sons wanted a new pair of sneakers. And the first day he told me, I said, okay, well, we'll sleep on it. The next day he wanted a different color. I said, okay, that sounds good. Let's sleep on it. The next day he changed his mind about those sneakers. I said, okay, that sounds good. Let's sleep on it. We don't always have to be impetuous. We don't have to be impulsive. We can be very, very conscientious about how we spend our dollars. They're hoping that we will not, but I encourage us to do that. And will benefit our community, will benefit our future, and will invest better in the areas where we need to invest. Right now, we're investing in others who we don't see. They're not at our school board meetings. They are not walking past us in our local communities. And they have no interest in us except the amount of money that we're going to spend with them. So I would encourage you to spend your money with people who are interested in you, who are interested in building a community with you, and establishing a network with you. That is wise. I think that's intelligent. I think that's a better way to approach the season of spending. So that is all I have for you today. I want to thank you again for listening to the Nurah Speaks podcast. Come back next week for another great episode. But be wise, be watchful. And I should also just point this out too. This is a very dangerous time of year. This holiday season creates a frenzy, and there's theft. There's the taking of life. Women in particular, it's not a good time. It's not a good time for anybody to be out late at night. But sisters, let's not keep late hours. Let's think about protecting ourselves. Don't leave things in your cars, people breaking into cars. Secure yourselves, secure your children, secure our families, and definitely secure our hard-earned dollars. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay in peace.
We were brought here as a piece of property. And to keep that piece of property, it is to not allow the property to know the value of the property. What I mean by that, if you had known the history of yourself, you would not have been made a slave. And you won't be a slave now if you have a knowledge of yourself. It's hard to enslave a person that have equal knowledge with you. You just can't do it. And so this knowledge of yourself is the thing that will free you from what you have been suffering from.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Nurah Speaks podcast. Be on the lookout for a new episode coming at you fresh next week. And as always, if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do, visit my website, nurahmuhammad.com. Or if you have a listener question, email me at info@nurahspeaks.com. You can also follow the Nurah Speaks podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Nurah Speaks Podcast. I'll be sure to include links in the show notes. If this show has value to you, please subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with family and friends. And be sure to check out previous episodes. And remember, don't just join the movement, be the movement. Stay in peace.